Right, Earthlings, welcome back to another Wheel of Time Thursday with your hosts, the Thundering Dice Brothers. I'm Sven.
I'm Ian.
And today we are reacting to the Wheel of Time episode 7, Golden Eyes, which is 100% the battle for Emond's Field.
And thank the light that they decided to have all of that in one episode, start to finish, no stupid cutscenes over to Rand or Tanchico, just a nice continuous story exactly like they did with Viridian.
Yeah, that was the best choice they made in the episode. The worst choice they made in filming the episode was shooting it all in the dark. I swear even the light scenes were so dark, it was sometimes hard to see what was going on. I think I have to watch this in a cinema environment to really get the full experience, which is a good and a bad thing, because sometimes people watch things during the daytime.
Yeah, even the scene where they are waiting for the Trollocs to attack in that valley, and you can see it's light outside. I mean, yes, I know the mountains are tall, I know it isn't direct light, but you could still just give in a little extra light in the camera, just open the aperture slightly more. It doesn't always need to feel so just dark.
I understand wanting to empathize with the characters and sort of see how little they're experiencing, but at the same time, I'm also a viewer with third-person perspective. I should be able to see a little bit more than the characters can. It's called dramatic irony, but this is on screen.
Yeah.
Either way,
though,
the episode was a pretty solid episode. We got the Battle of Emond's Field. It was a lot less organized than I had it in my mind, but that makes sense. These are a bunch of farmers. They have a bunch of hurriedly erected fortifications. Looks a little haphazard, a little unfinished, but that's fine. Alana, she's doing her thing with finding channelers, which is kind of neat, I guess, but I think it's a bit too Deus Machina-y,
if
that makes sense.
There. Yeah.
And they can use their powers fast.
Instantly. Yeah, I mean, really quickly, I mean, the Wisdom, or whatever her name is right now.
Days Conger.
Yeah, Days. She's just able to throw up that shield. I mean, I know she needed to do it, and she dies doing it at the end, getting peppered by a bullet of arrows. But still, it seems like a really too quick.
And then the girls, once again, heal Alana. And it's just a little bit too easy to learn how to channel, especially when you consider the Wonder Girl Nynaeve, who is not being allowed to channel at all in the show, really, because of her block, which you're also not really exploring at all because you moved Leandra in, and she was the only one that was talking to her about the block, it seemed like.
Yeah. All of season 3, she hasn't channeled at all.
Yeah, it's pretty frustrating, and I don't see any reason for her to channel in the next episode.
Week.
I mean, the next episode can't really tie off every single thread here. Like, Emond's Field, excellent, we had the whole battle, hell yeah. But next episode, it'd be ideal if we had 2 more episodes. We had one for Rand's penultimate episode, and we had one for the Tanchico penultimate episode. They're going to have to shove this all into one episode, or not, and leave it as a cliffhanger, and we'll just pick it up again in season 4, which, I don't know.
Could very well happen, yes.
Yeah, it really strikes me that they definitely wrote this season with the intention of having a season 4. They weren't.
Yeah.
I appreciate them not trying to half-ass a conclusion into season 3 because they weren't sure they'd get a season 4. They played it right. I would say we're getting the good battle right now. We should have a good resolution tomorrow or next week.
Going back to the battle though, really quickly, I wish the show would give us a better sense of timing, because I have no idea how long it's been between episodes 6 and 7. Because, I mean, there's a boatload of fortifications. These things don't happen overnight. You have to chop down it's a lot of manual labor, but it just happens from one scene to the next, basically. You don't even see any real prep work. It's just there.
And then they show kind of these, little montage-type scenes of the 2 rivers training. In some shots, they look actually, coordinated and they've drilled a long time. Other shots, there's Senbui being obstinate and saying he wants his bow, which fair point.
Which makes sense, because a lot of them, they're much better archers than they are any.
They're woodsmen.
Yeah.
And woodsmen are bowmen, not swordsmiths or whatever. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. So, it's kind of difficult to gauge. And then that's an issue, I think, with this series in general. It's difficult to gauge how much time has passed. Every season looks exactly the same. Every shot looks like it's always sort of midsummer, I guess. Everything is green and nothing's brown or decayed, or there's no snow or whatever. There's no real great indicator of passage of time other than when they tell us, oh, do you remember when 2 years ago we met? Oh, damn, 2 years ago.
2 years ago, really? Yeah.
Word.
As far as I know right now, the Dark One is already controlling, has locked the planet in
Who
place.
knows?
And
Yeah,
is
that's
controlling
entirely
the weather.
possible. We don't know yet. Yeah. Battle itself, they did some interesting things with the White Cloaks, how they introduced them, how they ended up participating. So they actually do participate in this battle, unlike in the books. They stand off and are all high and mighty and pretend that they will stay clean through it all. And the battle seems to get won a lot more easily in the books because you've got the rest of the two rivers that come to rally and attack the Trollocs from the rear. So you don't really get that. You get some refugees from other towns that come with the Tinkers, but that's barely even mentioned. It's very much in passing.
Yeah, there's no reinforcements coming. They're definitely on their own.
So having Pat and Fane lead in Trollocs and evil White Cloaks or disguised White Cloaks or whatever they are, that was novel.
Yeah, that was interesting. Though I very much dislike that Fane calls off the attack at the end because Perrin threatens to kill him. Like, you're the only one who smells like fear. It just you have the tactical upper advantage. I know Fane is a coward, more or less. All Dark Friends are cowards and shit like that, so you can play into that. But just from a overarching view, the Two Rivers was going to lose that battle. And the only reason they didn't is because of that one little decision. And that I don't like because battles are a lot more chaotic. The fact that Perrin just stops when he's about to kill him and then starts talking to him, it's way too level-headed. Your blood is pumping. You are not thinking about what you're doing. It's survival. It's a melee. There is no real order here. It's way too calm, that conversation.
But it does prove that, Pat and Fane is looking out for his own interests. And that is an overarching character trait of him in the books. He's not even actually committed to the Dark One at one point. He's very much committed to himself, to killing those that he's been forced to hound, because he thinks that once they're dead, he will be free of that burden that was placed on him by the Dark One.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's mistaken. He has all kinds of weird character stuff happen with Mashadar and Mordeth and Ordeth and
all of it.
Yeah.
He changes into a different character, different person, basically.
Yeah.
After Shadar Logoth.
And eventually, actually, he merges with Mashadar
and he just
and
becomes
roams around.
Whatever it is. I forget the name.
So he is sort of cowardly and is very, very self-centered in the books, too. So fine. He's self-centered enough here to where Perrin's going to kill him unless he calls off the Trollocs. So threat of life, when you're a coward, I suppose, it's believable enough to where it gets him out. It makes the battle won. It really, really should have turned Dane 100% on Perrin's side right here. And that's brings me to my and possibly Ian's biggest issue with this episode.
Not just biggest, I was fucking pissed at the end of it when I saw Perrin just go with the White Cloaks. Screw the books and shit like that in this respect. Where at first, when they first tried to arrest him after the battle, everyone's like, no, get out of here. You didn't do anything. You just sat on the green and stuff like that. And then fast forward into Towers of Midnight with the trial and stuff like that. Just him after the battle deciding to go with them and everyone else being more or less, basically okay with it except Fail.
But he basically persuades her still almost. He's like, let me do this, Someone has to stop the violence.
Yeah, and whilst that's a cute little nod to the Tuatha On, it still is just so... It's so abrupt. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't make sense.
So what's going to happen is Dane is going to have to forgive him in the next episode, or when they get to this resolution. I doubt it'll happen in this season. It sounds like
that'd be stupid too.
I don't see how they can tie off every single thread. I think some threads just have to be continuous to the next season. Not every single season and book has to have 100% satisfying endings for every single character every single time because it's a long freaking series. Some of the payoffs aren't going to happen until the end.
Yeah.
But so this to me seems like they're going to have Dane sort of forgive him and say your duty is to continue to fight the shadow or as because of what I saw you do in saving the Two Rivers, I now pronounce you washed away or innocent, or you have atoned for killing my father or something. That's the only way they're going to make this work. Otherwise, they're going to have Perrin be freed, which creates another conflict that keeps on going with the White Cloaks, which could happen because that does happen in the frickin' books too. And Valda got murdered, so you never know. They could probably tack that on him too, so they could keep the intrigue going there as well. I don't know how they're going to write their way out of this.
I don't see a good way to write your way out of it, because I don't see Dane forgiving Perrin for his father dying. I don't see him being able to find a way to retcon you need to be in the last battle, because the last battle is still so far away.
Yeah, it's barely in the regular conversations that people are having. It becomes everyday knowledge later on, but now most people probably still live in ignorance that it's on its way.
Yeah, and most people, like Rand hasn't, he's declared himself dragon on Falm, but
then he fucked right away.
Then he just disappears. So as far as anyone knows, it's just rumor, and he's a false dragon, and nothing out of the ordinary is going to happen.
Which would track. Yeah. Most people would probably think that he was a false dragon.
Yeah. It's just not going to work well. Either, as you said, they forgive him for some weird ass reason, and that's just going to feel wrong in my mind, or they rescue him, and that's the only way that I can see it happen. Like, Valet just be like, no, I'm not going to fucking let you do this. A few of the other ones are going to sneak in, or something, or, like, just something else has to happen to stop this, because, like, just Dane is, if he forgives him or
we've got Tavern stuff at work. This is part of the pattern forcing Perrin to find new allies or friends or repair fences. So he's going to be taken by the White Cloaks. He is going to be able to change their minds. They will be basically forced, because of his Tavern nature, unwittingly and unknowingly, to agree with him. Because he's right under a certain respect, and the pattern needs Perrin to be in different places than caught up with White Cloaks, or will need him to be there. So it could be, in the book, Perrin is able to basically persuade the entire Two Rivers in the span of a few days to abandon their their homesteads, abandon their farms, come to Ebon's Field, and fight. He does that just by talking to them a couple times and going from house to house, and then the word actually spreads without his direct intervention. So that's how strong of a Tavern he is. Could that same Tavern nature get him out of this situation? Make it easier for Perrin to persuade him and get out of it, and in so doing, forge a new alliance or friendship, or at least a truce between Dane and his White Cloaks and Perrin, the Two Rivers, and possibly even an uneasy alliance between Channelers and White Cloaks in this small respect.
Or are they going to do something really stupid, like take Perrin all the way back to Amador, if they want to play this thread too, that when Morghese decides to flee Camelin because she realizes what's going on, she too will slowly find her way into Amador. Pedronile will finally come into this. Perrin and Morghese will meet somewhere under the Dome of Light, and then somehow that is how they will start coming out, and that's how they'll break out.
God, that's so convoluted. Holy cow. If they do it that way, they're just like... They're taking an already complicated story and adding extra complications to it. Holy cow! If they end up doing something like that,
I could see them doing something, because there's a big time between this and when in the books when Galad with the White Cloaks, and happens in Towers of Midnight. There's a big chunk of time that Perrin's doing a boatload of useless shit that you could rewrite him just being a prisoner.
There's some stuff that he needs to do.
Well, some, yes.
Let's not get too far ahead of us. We're trying to focus on the episode.
Yeah,
sorry, guys. We're bad at this. We'll have a longer game stream about our ideas and thoughts about how this is going to go forward. But let's bring it back real quick. Loyal. I think he's dead.
He better be dead, because if he survives this, that's even more egregious than what they're doing with Perrin. Like he falls after destroying the Waygate into blackness. It's just like it's just going to be like an never-ending void, basically, just falling down.
And he already had his little book that was written that has a nice, satisfying ending that was read to us by him. And when you really think about it, it's kind of sad to think, because Loyal is such a charming and nice person and character in the books, but he doesn't really serve a huge story purpose. He has a lot of little cool expositionary things where he's writing summaries, or he's writing poetically about what he's seen, and those are chapter headings and verses, but really you can write the rest of the story without him, and in this way here, at least you give him sort of a hero's ending.
Yeah, I think that's probably how it's going to be at. It's a hero's ending. He died saving the Two Rivers, and a stand-in Ogier will come and replace the small parts that he does.
Yeah, there'll be other ones
later
that come.
on.
Like his father and mother or something will show up and get mad at Rand for killing Loyal or something.
Yeah, well, I guess better be mad at Perrin for this one.
Yeah.
They'll be like, how dare you not be at the same place when my son died.
But overall,
this
it was a good episode that made the right choice in focusing on the battle for the entire episode instead of jumping around. They need to work on filming a little bit more viewably. It's really frustrating to watch it sometimes. I don't know if it's just us. Maybe we're going crazy, but let us know if you have the same problem. Sometimes some of the way that these things are shot, like in the forest or even in daylight when they're preparing for the Trollocs to come, made it very difficult to make out some of the details. You put a lot of thought into the sets and the designs and the creatures. Let us see them a little bit. Maybe our TV is just too dark. I doubt it. Overall, good episode. We got a very satisfying battle. We got a couple extra OP moments by Perrin walking through the field, the
with his
village,
axe and his hammer,
just wrecking Trollocs and Dark Friends alike. That was cool to see. Fael, got to see her super quick, sneaky fighting style, and then the stab, and Trolloc's face. That was pretty satisfying.
Yeah, that was pretty dope. A little unbelievable, but I mean, you have to.
We're in a fantasy world.
Yeah, exactly. You have to suspend disbelief here. But no, yeah, for the most part, though, I'm pretty fucking happy with this episode. It's definitely fun to watch.
One more to go, guys. So let's see how they wrap everything up next Thursday.
Yeah. Until next episode, guys, like, comment, and subscribe down below. Let us know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? How great was the episode? How bad was the episode? And we will see you guys next time.